Imagine you're sitting in a dusty library in the late 1970s, the hum of fluorescent lights overhead, the quiet rustling of papers. A young software developer, brash, self-taught, and barely getting by, is hunched over a stack of technical journals. He's not supposed to be here, not really. He didn't graduate from college. He's bounced from job to job. But in his hands, in this moment, is a research paper published by IBM that very few people have read, and even fewer understand. That paper would become the spark that ignited one of the most powerful technology companies in history. The man was Larry Ellison. The paper was about something called a relational database, and the company he would build from it, Oracle, would go on to power everything from CIA servers to TikTok's algorithm. I'm Jim, and this is History Decoded. To understand how Larry Ellison became a tech titan, controlling systems that quietly shape the digital world today, you have to first understand the world he came from. Born in the Bronx and raised in a working-class neighborhood of Chicago, Ellison was the child of a single mother. He was adopted by his aunt and uncle. He dropped out of not one, but two colleges. He was the kind of guy people bet against. But Ellison had something far more potent than a diploma, an instinct for opportunity. In the mid-70s, the computing world was still in its infancy. Mainframes were king. Data was rigid, trapped in file systems that were slow, clunky, and utterly inflexible. But deep within IBM's research division, a quiet revolution was underway. A computer scientist named Edgar F. Codd had proposed a radical new idea: that data should be stored in tables, and those tables should relate to one another using logic and mathematics. Codd's relational database model was so far ahead of its time that even IBM didn't rush to commercialize it. They shelved it, filed it under maybe later. Larry Ellison didn't wait. Somehow, through a friend, a contact, or maybe a bit of good old-fashioned rule-bending, Ellison got his hands on the IBM research paper. It was dry, filled with dense math and abstract concepts. Most people would have tossed it aside, but Ellison read it and saw the future. What IBM had theorized, he would build. In 1977, he and two colleagues founded a company with a name as vague as it was ambitious: Software Development Laboratories. They had no product, no customers, and no capital. What they did have was a plan to turn IBM's relational database theory into working software. They called it Oracle. Why Oracle? Because their first client was the CIA, and the project was codenamed Oracle. That's right. From day one, Oracle's DNA was intertwined with American intelligence. Not many startups can claim their first customer was Langley. Now here's where the story starts to warp into something stranger. You'd think IBM, with all its resources, would have crushed Oracle as soon as they heard about it. But IBM made a strategic blunder. They delayed releasing their own version of a relational database to avoid cannibalizing their existing systems. Ellison seized the gap. By the 1980s, Oracle had created the first commercially viable relational database system, and suddenly, every major company that needed to store and retrieve large amounts of data, banks, airlines, government agencies, wanted what Ellison was selling. He built his empire with an iron will. His management style was notoriously aggressive. Deadlines were brutal. Loyalty was non-negotiable. And yet, the product kept evolving, growing, embedding itself into the arteries of global infrastructure. But how do we get from that to TikTok, to Stargates? We're getting there. By the 2000s, Oracle was more than a database company. It was a juggernaut, snapping up smaller firms and expanding into cloud computing, enterprise software, and beyond. They bought Sun Microsystems, the creator of Java, a language now running on billions of devices. But Ellison's ambitions didn't stop at business software. He began to see Oracle as the backbone of modern civilization. Airports, hospitals, credit cards, satellites, anything with complex data was running on Oracle. And through strategic contracts, Oracle embedded itself into military systems, intelligence networks, even global logistics. Then came TikTok. In 2020, amidst a flurry of national security concerns about TikTok's Chinese ownership, an unlikely proposal emerged. Oracle, yes, that Oracle, offered to take over the storage of TikTok's U.S. data. It seemed odd at first. What did a legacy enterprise software company have to do with a viral dance app? But look closer. TikTok runs on massive amounts of relational data, user behavior, preferences, content rankings, algorithmic feedback. Oracle's cloud infrastructure, known for its high security and reliability, became the perfect solution for a government-pressured compromise. And just like that, Larry Ellison's company inserted itself into the algorithmic bloodstream of one of the most influential platforms on Earth. Now, about that modern-day Stargate, it sounds like science fiction, and maybe it is. But here's the thread. Oracle, through its advanced cloud platforms and defense contracts, is developing software capable of integrating massive datasets, military telemetry, satellite feeds, biometric tracking, in real time. This is not public knowledge. It leaks in drips, through defense budgets, patent filings, offhand comments in earnings calls. Some insiders speculate that Oracle's systems are becoming something akin to predictive engines, able to map, model, and even forecast real-world events based on data signals. Not a Stargate in the sci-fi sense, but a portal nonetheless, a digital doorway between raw information and strategic foresight. And who stands at the center of it all? Larry Ellison. Now in his 80s, still sharp, still involved, still dangerous. He lives on a private Hawaiian island. He races yachts. He courts world leaders. He watches the machine he built quietly shape the digital world. You won't see Oracle's name on your phone. You won't find it on your favorite apps. But behind the screen, behind the curtain, behind the servers pulsing under TikTok, the Pentagon, the IRS, and perhaps one day, something stranger. Oracle watches. Oracle learns. Oracle remembers. Larry Ellison didn't just find a research paper. He found a key. And he opened a door the rest of us didn't even know existed. I'm Jim, and this has been History Decoded. If you found this story as jaw-dropping as I did, don't forget to subscribe. And remember, the next revolution usually starts in the margins of a forgotten document.